For our activity, you will need your creative friend printout, a pen or pencil, and some crayons or markers for drawing. Let's get started. I'd like you to think of someone in your life who is special, someone who is different from everyone else that you know. This person is a real person in your life, not a superhero or an imaginary friend, not someone from a book or from a movie, but someone that you actually know, someone who makes your life interesting. So take a minute and pick a person who you think is special and different from all the other people you know, someone that you like to think about. All right, do you have a friend in mind? Great. We're going to call that friend your creative friend. Now, do you recognize this? It's a Pokemon card, only it's missing some important information that only you can provide. You're going to use this Pokemon template to make a creative friend card about your friend. Will you write your friend's name right here? Then will you write your own name below? You are the author of this creative friend card. Great! Now that your card's ready to go, I want you to spend a little more time thinking about the person that you chose to be your creative friend. What can you tell me about them? What makes them special? Can you tell a story about something special your friend did? Give yourself a few minutes to do just that. Feel free to pause me while you do. Okay, now that you've had time to think about your friend, let's go back to our creative friend card. Let's flip it over to the back side. Once you flip your card over, you'll see that I have some questions to ask you about your friend. Will you grab a pen or pencil so that you can answer the questions right on the card? Can you think back and remember what makes your friend special and different? Let's use that thought to answer question number 1. My friend is different from other people because... Go ahead and pause me again if you need a minute to think and write. Let's keep thinking about your friend and wondering what they would do in certain situations. If your friend went to a new school where they didn't know anyone, they would do what? Take your time and answer as specifically as you can about what your friend would do. If it helps, ask yourself, what would my friend tell me to do if I was at a new school and didn't know anyone? Finally, what would happen if your friend found $100? What would they do? That's great. You now have 3 really specific ways to remember how your friend is different and unique. Take a few minutes now and go back to the front of your card. Here you can draw something that reminds you of your friend. Take your time and pause me, and then we'll move on to the second part of our project. So we call this card your creative friend because this card reminds you of someone who thinks and behaves in a way that is different, in a way that you think is special. You've identified them as someone who is creative, and the card can help you solve real problems that you may encounter by looking at them in a new and different way. When you run into a new problem, you can think to yourself, what will I do? You can then also imagine, what would my creative friend do? What would my creative friend tell me to do? Let's try that now. Imagine that your friends are bored at recess. What would your creative friend do? What advice would they give you? Should we try another? Okay. Think of someone your age that you really like to play with. Now imagine that friend is having a birthday party, but you're going to be out of town that weekend. What do? What would your creative friend do? What would they tell you to do? So how can you use this card? Anytime you have a problem in your life that you're not sure how to solve, you can think to yourself, what would I do? What would my creative friend do? What would they tell me to do? This way, you're coming up with more than one answer to a problem, all on your own. That's the power of the creative friend card.